Welcome back. This Barts on Desire come back. And what I want to do is remind you that of what it was like when you first started going out, when you first met your partner, how exciting it was, the feeling alive and the passion. And that was, and as I've alluded to earlier on, built about by the adrenaline building up in your body and heightening your senses. And the adrenaline's built up through the anxiety of not knowing what's coming. So that's what builds the passion. But when your relationship becomes quite predictable, becomes quite boring. So what I want to understand, when I want you to think back about when your partner used to call on the phone or text, how exciting that was, or when they arrived home from work, or when you met up again, or you caught up after not seeing each other for a few hours or a few days or whatever the situation. But I remember, what would it be like now if it was like that back again? And this is the thing, we quite often think we can't have that again, but in actual fact it's absolutely achievable. But what we need to do is a series of steps to get that back, because what we've lost and what we've gained in one area, we've lost in another. So we've gained all this knowledge about this person, our partner, that we know every little intricate about them, but we're actually playing within that boundary of what we know. So we're not expanding our boundaries or their boundaries, which means we're sticking in with what we know, which becomes quite boring because we know we're only playing at the level we know how to play at. So when we talk about passion and desire, they all fit together. Passion, desire, and intimacy, they fit together like a glove. It's, like a relationship can have just intimacy, or it might just have passion in the early stages only, and it might have desire. But to make sure you got all three, you need that balance, and that balance needs to be what we're going to talk about, and that's how we do the self-growth. So the self-growth is what we need to create to have balance in the relationship, so we don't become anxious with ourselves and about the relationship, but we might create anxiety about what's going to happen, which is different again. So we become quite secure but excited, and that's what it's all about. So we know we've taken all the steps to feel secure and what we're going to do and achieve. So what I'm going to talk about is one of the ways of getting balance and what you need to work on yourself. So the first one, I'll just talk about being solid and flexible. So within yourself, sometimes you can get emotionally overly developed or catastrophic about something that's happened. You can be brittle, you can be controlling, you can be dependent, emotionally needy. It might need validation in the relationship a lot. These things creep in because we're looking for that security. Now, when you're looking for that from your partner, after a while, it's not that sexy. So this is one of the things that you need to develop for yourself. So when you're looking at developing a solid sense of self, so you want to internalise your set core, one value. What I mean by that is you're getting your own sense of self-confidence, self-awareness. So you don't need the validation from someone else that you've done something well, or you don't need to be controlling of that other person. You just need to be self-confident in yourself. Your sense of your own self-worth. You don't need others to confirm that yet. You learn this about yourself. You maintain your own viewpoint and sense of direction. You don't need to conform to someone else's way of being. Because all these things kick in. We start doing these things to try and appease our partner, thinking that's what they want. But it actually makes us rather unattractive, because we lose that person we were originally, because now they're controlling us. So we want to learn from mistakes, and then we want to change the roles when they're required, so we let others be right sometimes. So, and some of this thing that makes room for us to have other people in our lives, because we're now not so reliant on validation and what I like to call emotionally fused to our partner. So we become separate but together, and it makes us so much more attractive. This is a strong sense of self. This is really the key of this piece, and it's a key take home, and what's something that we go over in depth over and over again, but it's not something you can race over in a few minutes. But I want you to think about developing your own sense of self-worth. And until next time, we'll talk about that a wee bit more. Bye now.